Our region's business is sponsored by PNC for the Achiever in You.
Seven score and 10 years ago, President Abraham Lincoln proclaimed a new birth of freedom in America with the Gettysburg Address, the milestone in American history that took place 150 years ago this week in central Pennsylvania. Our region as well played an important role in the Civil War, and it's the subject of a new exhibit at the Heinz History Center in Pittsburgh, an exhibit that's sure to draw plenty of visitors throughout the holiday season. Andy Masich's back with us. He's the president and CEO of the Senator John Heinz History Center. Good to see you again.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, well, and you wear two hats, probably more than that, but at least two I know of. One is running the History Center, but the other is chair of the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission. So this Gettysburg thing is a big deal for you, right?
It is. The Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission is Pennsylvania's official history agency. It runs the state archives and the State Museum in Harrisburg and about 40 other museums around the Commonwealth. But that organization really helps pull together all the museums in Pennsylvania around big common interest issues like the 150th anniversary of the Civil War. And as you know, Bill, tourism is Pennsylvania's #2 industry, and heritage tourism or cultural tourism is by far the largest component of that. So when we talk about 150th anniversary of the Civil War and the people who are flocking to Gettysburg, we're talking about 2.5 million people descending on that little town.
It's a tiny town, really, when you think about it.
Right,
yeah.
And it generates a lot of revenue.
Wow, and so what's on tap for the Gettysburg Address?
Well, November 19th is the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. That 2.5-minute speech is probably one of the best remembered and best loved speeches uttered by any American president. And there will be a lot of fanfare, some programs, lectures, living history surrounding that whole week of the 19th. And unfortunately, President Obama couldn't make it. We were hoping he would come and maybe even give the Gettysburg Address on the exact spot at the exact moment that Lincoln did. And when you think about how far our country has come in 150 years, to have an African-American president saying the Gettysburg Address, well, it gives you chills to think about.
It would have been a moment. My guess is there'll still be plenty of tears and eyes out at Gettysburg this week anyway. But it's the middle of the week, unfortunately, the 19th, so a lot of folks can't get there. So fortunately, you're taking care of them here at home, right, if they want to get their Civil War fix?
That's right. The History Center just opened our Pennsylvania's Civil War exhibit. It's a 10,000 square foot exhibit that really takes us through the 4 years of the Civil War. Slavery, the root cause of the Civil War is dealt with, but also what was happening on the home front as well as the battlefront. And here in Pittsburgh, we were the arsenal of the Union. And one of the things that we've done is created a replica of the largest cannon ever cast in American history.
I mean, we're talking a really, really big cannon.
This thing was a 20-inch caliber Columbiad. It could hurl a 1,080-pound round ball 4.5 miles when loaded on top of 200 pounds of mammoth gunpowder. This thing was used to protect New York Harbor from invasion. Abraham Lincoln personally wanted a super gun that was so frightening that British and French warships would give our territorial waters a wide berth because there was some concern about them interceding on behalf of the South.
That's right. The South was petitioning, right, for support from Europe.
That's
They
right.
always like to intervene here in North America. We know that from history, too. Well, the technology to build the original cannon had to have been pretty remarkable. Building the replica looks like it was no small task.
Well, I'll tell you, I can't imagine how they cast that thing in 1864 right across from the History Center at the Fort Pitt Foundry.
Okay.
Thomas Jackson Rodman poured 80 tons of molten iron to make this behemoth. We had to build it out of resin using 3D printing technology. In fact, that cannon replica is the largest 3D printed object on planet Earth right now.
Is that, and that's such a hot area of interest right now. It's going to reinvent manufacturing. A lot of that innovation is happening right here in our region, and you were able to tap it to create your exhibit.
It's amazing the detail that 3D printing can allow us, and it's still heavy. It's still not easy to move around. around, but you know, our guys can do it using lifts and carts right in the museum setting. So it is an amazing innovation. Someday you may be able to go to a museum and take a picture of an object you like, and before you leave the museum, you'll have a 3D printed replica waiting for you at the gift shop.
Really cool. I'm thinking as a museum director, you're already thinking about the revenue stream that could generate.
You got that right.
Rodman himself, had to have been really cutting edge. Pittsburgh guy, right? Rodman, who came up with this technology to be able to forge something
Thomas
like this?
Jackson Rodman was the head of Allegheny Arsenal, which, as you know, was right at 40th Street in Butler, where Arsenal Middle School is today. And he came up with a number of patents. He's the first one to build a bullet machine that could actually press lead mini balls or bullets using a lead rod and compression to make perfect bullets every time. They could turn out 30,000 an hour. But his big innovation was casting large cannons by putting a core plug in the mold and then pumping water down through the center of the cannon as it was being poured, cooling it from the inside out. Well, that made it strong and hard and dense in the interior where it needed to be strongest. And other nations, Germany, France, Britain, they couldn't duplicate Rodman's results. So Pittsburgh was leading the world in this technology 150 years ago.
Unbelievable. Only a few seconds left, but the exhibit's going to be there how long if people are coming home to visit for Thanksgiving or for Christmas?
The Pennsylvania Civil War will be at the History Center in the Strip District all through the holidays. It'd be a great time to come out, bring the family, and see Poptastic, Burton Morris's exhibit on pop art at the History Center as well.
You got it all covered. Civil War to pop art. Andy Masich from the Heinz History Center. Thank you so much. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
And we'll be back in a minute with little dollars and cents. Stay with us.